everybody. Welcome to USMLE.info. I'm Sai Rashmi, and today we have Dr. Allam, who has very generously contributed his time, especially after his post call day. He's here with us to talk about his journey in USMLE, which has been truly a journey of perseverance and resilience. Applying for math cycles, matching into them at last at his top choice. Um,
Thank you. It's my pleasure to be here.
so a little background on Dr. Allam. He is currently a PGY2 resident in Tower Health Phoenixville, a psychiatry residency that was his top choice when he was applying. He matched in 2022. Before that, he has medical training in Sri Siddhartha, Tumkur, India. He has done also research in University of Arizona for 5 years and in the field of psychiatry. He has written numerous articles on in American Psychiatry Association, and his articles on lifestyle and culture and acculturation and a guide for IMGs has been an amazing read. So thank you so much for being here. You have so many awards under your belt and so many like titles under your
My
belt.
story so that it is helpful for people and to know how, especially if you are an old graduate. I'm trying to make AAMC to remove that term old grad to make it experienced grad, because I don't think there's anything disadvantage of being an old grad. But I can tell you ways on how I used that to improve myself and my CV. But yeah, I'm excited to be here. And thank you everyone else for joining. Yeah.
There's a lot more people who are going to be watching this on YouTube in the after
Mhm.
hours. Like, trust me,
Sure.
it's going to be huge because of the contributions of all the IMGs and especially you because you're here after a night call, right? So you have been working really hard for a long time and it has definitely paid off and you've gotten into residency.
Mhm.
So can you tell us a bit about your USMLE journey and why USMLE for you?
Sure. So I, like you mentioned, I graduated in 2014. Um, but I'm sure everyone has a reason why they want to come to US, but I am sure this story will relate to everyone. When I joined med school, I was standing up in the counseling line, and I knew there was this one girl who was, we were going to pay the first year fees for med school, and there was this one girl, and I thought she joined my college, and I congratulated her. And then, she was like, I'm not coming to your college. Like, I got the number one ranked college in Karnataka. And then I was like, did I make a mistake? Did I miss out on a very good college? Even like because I had a better one rank better than her. Then I realized that, you have this quota system, and if you're in general merit, there is so less opportunities to grow and things like that. So that stuck with me in the sense that I wanted somewhere, to be fair and get the most opportunities I can for myself. So that was a motivation, for me to try to go into a system where hard work is acknowledged and also you get the most opportunities for yourself. Um, and so then I decided to, come for a clerkship during my final year, internship year of med school. I came to US, and that's when I, got to know the US system and how organized it is. And I took my CS first. There was CS exam at that time. So, and then I went back to India. And after I graduated, I started studying for STEP exams. So I finished my STEP exams in 2 years after graduating. And so I was eligible to apply to residency in 2016. So my story is I took 6 years. I went through 6 math cycles, but every year I applied, I got more and more interviews, contrary to what people think that, if you're an old grad, then your interviews keep reducing. but that's not true in my case, and I'll tell you why. Uh, so I came to US in 2016. I applied for multiple research positions. I remember I got interviewed but this is all volunteer. Like being an MBBS grad without any research experience, you can't expect someone to pay you. So I decided to up email programs asking them for like I would volunteer in their research lab. So I just emailed hundreds of places and I asked some of my family were in US and they reached out to some of their colleagues and faculty. And this was purely like just for research position volunteer. It's not high stake residency recommendation or something. I didn't have any contacts in the medical field in the US. So I applied. I interviewed in Yale. I remember they were happy to. People are happy to take you as a volunteer. So, but the first opportunity I got was in University of Arizona. Yale was taking time. They weren't sure when they could take me in. So I got the first opportunity. University of Arizona wanted a research assistant like immediately. So I came to University of Arizona in 2016. I worked in clinical research. So I learned clinical trials, how to run them. So that first year, I was I just volunteered in research and I applied for my first math cycle. So I got one interview, and that was from that university where they also had a residency program in psychiatry. So I always wanted to do psychiatry after medical school because of some family members, like my grandfather having dementia and all that. So I was pretty much set to do psychiatry. And so I only applied to psychiatry all my math cycles. There was no backup specialty, nothing. Uh, so I got one interview. I did not match. They did not take any IMGs. It was not an IMG friendly program. So then from volunteer, they liked my work. So they converted to a paid position. So I got a full-time paid job at the university as a research assistant or a research specialist position. And I was working hours. I was handling 6 different clinical trial protocols myself, which typically, as an American, you should be getting 3, 4 times more money than I should have got. But I was happy to just get paid in the US. So I just stuck to that job. And I knew this was not my long term goal. My long term was to get residency. So I again applied the next season and I did not get, I got like same, I got 2 interviews. I did not match. Again, it was in a very, it was in not IMG friendly program. Um, so then I realized I need to take my step 3. I didn't do step 3 then yet. So after my third cycle, again, I got 3 interviews in the same program where I was working and they did not take me. So that frustrated me. I took my step 3 after that and I decided not to apply to the program where I was working, even though they kept asking me to apply. So that was a hard decision I took because I knew that if I'm dependent on that program where I'm working, I will be, because I was working extra hours trying to prove myself to the program that I am such a hard worker. But sometimes you have to take that chance that no one can take you for granted. And so I stopped applying to that program and I just focused on myself and applying to everywhere else and trying to improve my overall CV. So I continued to work there, but then I made sure I worked 9 to 5. I did not take extra work. I learned to set my boundaries. I learned work-life balance and I learned to improve my application. I did my step 3. I did other observerships in my vacation time I used. And then I got 3 interviews the next season in other programs. Um, but again, I did not match. And then I realized, and I knew the psychiatry was getting more and more competitive, and my scores were average. It was not great scores. But again, my year of grad was playing against me. So I realized that someone told me that I need to improve my interview skills. I asked one of the program director, like, what do you think I should improve on? He had nothing to say about my CV. He just said, you need to improve on your interview. And I was shocked. And so because I can speak okay, I thought I was decent, but I did not know the stakes were so high. If you're coming to a very competitive specialty, everything counts. Everything counts. So then I trained for interview prep. Um, there are a lot of, I'm not going to say the name, but there are a lot of interview prep courses online, but it's up to but like I'm saying, if you're in applying for competitive specialty, interview is so important. And then the next year, I then got 5 interviews. So from one interview for 3 years in a row to then 3 interviews and then 5 interviews. Uh, so then I went to the 5 interviews. I prepped well for my interview, did not match. And then I gave up. I didn't give up. I set myself that I cannot work in research anymore. I was doing very well in research. I was getting pharma jobs, high paid jobs. Pharma companies were willing to recruit me. But I said like I need to be touched. Like I was still doing clinical research, seeing patients, you know, drug trials similar to ketamine, IV drug infusion trials for depression. I was doing child and adolescent research studies for depression. So I had a lot in my CV. I had a lot in my CV in terms of research. But I decided to go home and I decided to go back to India and I had to start from scratch. I remember I took that hard decision after 5 years of being in US, not matching, to go back to India. And I did not know how to start again the whole thing, but I, 2 3 weeks, I like this is honest story. Like I was like literally just and in my bed, like thinking what to do next, like literally in tears. I was like, I'm to start from scratch. My whole, I have to start friends from scratch. I had a whole friend group in the US and everything. But I started to take NEET exam after so many years, and I got in NIMHANS. So I got a diploma in psychiatry in NIMHANS, and I started that. And then the next year, I again applied, but this time I applied from India. I applied to only 20 programs. I did not apply to programs who did not take me for the last 5 years, who not even given me an offer of an interview for last 5 years. I only applied to programs who at least gave me one chance in the last 5 years, and I applied to new programs. So it came up to 20 programs. So 10 programs around interviewed me in the 5 years prior, and I got the same 5 interviews that I got the previous year. And then I matched in my top choice. So I applied to 20 programs, got 5 interviews, and I matched in my top choice. So this is a long story. But these are the things I can tell you after talking to a lot of program directors, getting feedback on how to improve my application every year. I wrote down a list of things that can probably help you if you are an old grad, repeat applicant. Um, so now the number. So first thing is that everything has a limit. So for me, like after 1 or 2 years of research experience, it doesn't matter you do 3, 4, 5, 6 years. For a residency application, you just need some research experience, some clinical experience. Overdoing something is not going to help you. It may just be like it may just the how much it can help you will remain stable. So so research experience again, like again, what kind of experience? If you're doing just clinical research where you're not publishing papers, that is not going to help you. So you have to have a balance. You need to have at least like 3 or 4 publications. So what kind of research matters? So you can do clinical research, but also make sure you have publications. Um, Same thing with clinical experience. If you're doing externships, observerships for 9 months, 10 months, for years, that is not going to improve your application. Think about other aspects, how you can improve, like add a little bit of research experience, add a little bit of observership. Even home country, if you're not able to get clinical experience in the US, maybe you did 2, 3 months clinical experience in US. Home country clinical experience also matters. Like there is a limit again, like how much clinical experience you need in the US. So me going back to my home country, I put letters of recommendation the year I matched from my home country. Like I had 2 letters from home country and 2 letters from the US. So so again, like everything has to be a balance and it should show a variety. Um, the other thing is that if you get at least 4 interviews, like 3 to 4 interviews, and if you are not matching, then it is the you have to it's you have to focus on your interview. It's no other reason that like there should not be any reason that you cannot match with 3 or 4 interviews. Like it's no excuse. Like you can't expect as an IMG and as you're getting an older IMG to get more than 3 to 4 interviews. If somebody can match with a first interview choice, like their first choice, that means you just need one interview to match, right? So I don't see an excuse that somebody gets 3, 4 interviews and then say that I don't have interviews. So you have to use the maximum opportunity you get to match. So once you get 3, 4 interviews, just extremely focus on your interview preparation. Now, I can tell you that your 3, 4 interviews is equal to an AMG having 15, 17 interviews. As an IMG, they really, if they give you an interview, they really want you. As an AMG, they usually match in their 10th or 11th or 8th interview. Their chances of matching in their top choice is very less. So, or the top 5 choices. And IMGs usually match in their top 5 choices. So because when they give you an IMG an interview, it like the chances they really want you. They're not giving you a courtesy interview or just by like your medical school name or things like that. So make sure like you really, really focus on interview once you get to 3 or 4 interviews. Um, the next thing is that um, again, like especially this is true for competitive specialties, like no matter like you don't expect more than 3, 4 interviews, even if you have like high scores. So if you get more, it's fine, but don't in competitive specialty like psychiatry, like have 3, 4 interviews, make the most out of it. Um, and then if you're in a home country, if you're doing clinical, if you're not getting opportunities to come to US to get clinical experience, and if you're in the home country, go for online courses. Harvard has online, therapy courses. Get certified in those. Show that you're interested. Like there is no excuses to not improve your academic profile, like your certifications. So try to do that if you're applying for specialties like psychiatry. Um, Again, one more thing is if you don't match, it's not a personal thing. So like I said, I was in that program for where I was working for 3 years, totally 5 years. But I know that it's not an IMG friendly program. So there is nothing personal about the match. So don't depend on one place, one person. Um, don't depend on one place, one person. Try to improve yourself. And connections matter, but it'll only matter until you get the interview. But still, like try to improve yourself and like try to again, like don't depend on just one connection or one place. Um, the next thing is so again, if you're an old grad, if you have a failure in your step, so first of all, take step 3. Like that is obvious. Like if you are complaining that you did not match and but you haven't given your step 3, then there is no excuse. Like you just take your step 3. And the other thing to remember is that what what you do between now and the application, that is like September and or whenever the application start, that will decide your match. Like that will decide your next match. Like it's over. Once you apply, it's done. Whatever you do after September, you're thinking about the match after. So yeah, so don't think that you have this whole time. You just have from now to September. So think about what you can do most. Like if you have to give step 3, do your step 3. If you don't have any observerships or anything in the US, get US clinical experience. So things like that, like you need to focus on now to September, and then you can relax after that. And so that also means that if you are an old grad with average scores or or a step attempt, um, you know, most likely your application will be filtered. So when you apply, you just don't sit around and wait for you to get interview. You should try to contact programs and email a week or two before application, because there's no point. Your application will be filtered out, and then you'll be in this waiting game. Then when I should reach out to programs. So whether I should reach out after 2 weeks, after 3 weeks, right? So it's going to play in with your mind. So what I did is I reached out to program 2 weeks before I applied, because I was an old grad. So if they have a year of grad filter, it's going to filter out. So I reached out to programs. I emailed all the programs that I was applying, that I'm going to apply to them. And with my profile briefly, mostly highlighting all the positive things, all my good points. I mean, everyone has some failure in steps, some low score, but but highlighting the positive aspects is important, because there's always going to be some negative aspects, so which they can find out anyway. So email programs beforehand, that is very important for an old grad or somebody who has some step failure. The best thing is if a program feels like they don't like you. That I got, like, I think from 1/4 of the program, they told that we do not we don't take somebody who is more than 5 years old grad. So the good thing is, the worst case scenario is you're saving money. You're not applying to that program, right? So, and the good thing is that I got all my interviews on the day of application. So on the day, like literally that day or next day, I didn't get anything for rest of the season. So most of the programs, if you don't realize, the way it works here is that they already have 50% of their interview list ready before application. So they have their own medical students if they have affiliated university med schools. So they know who all are applying. They already have recommendations from other people. So programs are not waiting for your application. They're not waiting. In 2 weeks, there is no way they're going to review all the applications and then decide. And then, there is other programs who's reviewing faster than them. And if they take them or block their interview spots, they may miss out on good candidates, right? So they're doing their due diligence even before you apply. So you need to email them before. And the good thing is, most program directors will respond to you before application. After application, they won't. There are rules, NRMP rules, etc., but those rules don't apply before you apply. So try to use that opportunity if you're an old graduate, failure attempts, anything that you feel will the filter will take you out. And everything in the application is important. Photo is important. One program director gave me this thing that I need to improve my photo. It was taken in India, but it was also something I reused every application. Photo is important. Now, being on this side of selection committee in the program and all, when they finally display, like, making rank list, they will pull out that photo in front of everyone and review each candidate. So your photo is so important from beginning to end. So simple things like, for that photo, like, make sure it, like, you're smiling, you are comfortable, you look the way you want to look. So that is so important, because, for example, if they are scrutinizing you during the committee meeting for rank listing, they're looking at that photo. If you have a grumpy look, if you're not having a friendly look, and then if there are other negative points, it's going to amplify. So photo visual is so important. And another tip I can tell you is, when you email programs or send thank you letters, in the signature line, when you put your name, just put a small photo of yourself,
Oh,
like a small passport photo thing. because there is a face linked to the email. There is more chances you will get a response. Otherwise, it's just a name. And so when you email thank you, even by email to residents, they know who they're emailing back, because there are so many people who will come to the interview, like to the resident meet and greet and things like that. And so making sure that they remember your face, that will also help in the selection committee for the residents to watch out for you or any faculty. Like that is so important. So make sure you have a professional email with the photo. That's why LinkedIn is so powerful these days for
Yes.
contacts, because every LinkedIn page has a photo attached to it. So same thing
That's
with
where I met Dr. Allam, by the way, on LinkedIn. So
right.
our professional contact was also from LinkedIn. So that is beautiful points. You have something else to add? I'm sorry I interrupted because of the whole.
Yeah. So the other thing is make sure your personal statement, don't do it last minute. It is reviewed by people, multiple people. Like my program, I know my program director, competitive specialties will look at personal statement a lot. Then say internal medicine, they look at scores a lot. So we look at personal statements a lot. So make sure the personal statement is reviewed by people and highlights the important things. Um, and CV, make sure it's clean, bullet points for all the experiences under each experience. So your CV is clean. Um, and then when you email programs, again, like people go, so this mistake they make is like they do an observership in XYZ community program, right? And in their email, they are like, I'm so and so, I'm from so and so Vijayawada College, whatever, and I'm doing an observership in, say, some Brooklyn program. They're highlighting that so much as if like, I mean, for an applicant, like they're so proud. I know they're so proud that you are in US doing observership. But for a program director, like it's like, I don't care. Like whether you are from Siddhartha College, or unless you are from Ames or Harvard, you're doing an observership, it's okay to put that. You can just say like I am an IMG from India. It doesn't matter if you're from Siddhartha College, or it doesn't matter because they don't know it. And it's also like not showing, like you're just distracting from you showing interest in that program, in their program. So you want to make sure that when you write an email, if you remove that thing, will it matter? Like if you have 230 score, will it matter if you put like you have 230, like, or just say like you passed in first attempt? Like, does it matter? Unless you have 270, okay, you highlight those things. So when you write the email, think about things. If you remove that, will that change who I am? Because you can always attach your CV and they can go in detail about you. But so those are the things, like I like it should also, like that will also help them know that you are more keen in their program, rather than like if you are so happy, why do you want residency if you're happy doing observership, right? So you have to show that in your email. And emailing program directors directly with copying coordinators helps, because you don't know how many, before applications, how many program directors get so many tons of referrals from friends and colleagues about some applicant, and then you are pitching for yourself to the
Mhm.
program director, saying about your strengths, talking
Mhm.
about more clinical aspects, like about technical aspects of the specialty, right? And so the program director is more likely to review yours first than some recommendations, because they're always flooded with them. And so even when you get an interview, they'll be more happy because you talk to them directly, right? Than somebody getting a courtesy interview because of some friends or friends referral. So none of my interviews I got through any contacts. I didn't have any contacts in the program I am in. So those are the things I want you to think of. Like, it's just not your scores. Everything else matters, but also your communication before application, during the interview season, and even after. And if you do not match, make sure you're kind to every program, because you never know that you may need that program for next cycle. So maybe you got 5 interviews and you really, really liked one program. Don't just send thank you emails to that one program and not to the other programs. Everyone is important. And so, so that's how I got the same 5 interviews in my next cycle, because I was always kind to every one of them. And I know it's not personal, whether they take me or no. So being professional throughout is very important, and showing that you are interested and it's not their fault, or not showing any grudge, and that making it a very professional relationship throughout the interview season and after is very important. So I was equally thankful for my top choice to also to my last choice. Of course, I sent physical thank you cards only to my top choice, but when email communication, make sure you are communicating equally important to every program you got the opportunity.
I wanted to say something. Just one second,
Sure.
Dr. Allam. The meeting is about to end, so please join the same link again. I didn't buy Zoom Pro, but yeah, please. So next would be a few more tips and question and answer for whoever wanted to ask questions. So I'm ending the meeting right now. I'm gonna start it again. Please join the link. Thank you.
Previous.
Sorry.
Right. So the other point is like check NRMP website from the previous year, like on the number of voluntary for that specialty, like what's the average number of voluntary experiences, research papers. They will publish a data. Make sure that your CV has equal or more than that. Like I'm sure you have done some voluntary experiences somewhere. So make sure you are equal or more in each of those number of experiences. That way, programs don't rule out you because you don't have the minimum requirement. Even like voluntary experiences, like they will look at it like it's just a number, and it's important to, when you're making a CV, to look at the previous NRMP data on the number of experiences. And then yeah, I think social media. Keep your social media clean. You never know. Some programs do look at social media, especially like maybe a resident may point out something in the committee meeting if something is flagged like in your social media. So make sure, like, don't take chances. Like, check your Facebook, what is public, and clean it up. Make it very professional. This is very important because even when you join residency, after you get residency, they will give you training on social media. So they want to, like, when you're having patients come to you, like what kind of thing is in public. So you need to make sure, again, having no social media can also be an issue. So then there is, I mean, it's not as bad as having a social media and posting things that are controversial. So things like that. So make sure you have a clean, double check your social media before applying. So yeah, and just the last thing is that you will match when you are ready, because I know that if I matched 2 years ago, I would not have been this good resident, like this capable resident as I am today. So, not matching is okay. It's like a norm for an IMG. So it's nothing personal again. So you just have to look at ways you can improve, and definitely you will match when you are actually ready for residency. And that time you will realize like why it took this much time and what self-improvements you had to go through to actually be ready for residency. So
Awesome points, Dr. Allam. It was very nice listening to your journey and all the points that you gave us. So we do have a few questions in the
mhm.
box as well. So one of the questions was, I think, Raj, can you unmute yourself and ask the question, please? Because last also you had a question, as far as I believe. So to concise the thing, it would be better. So just unmute yourself and you can ask the question. By the way, till then, Dr. Allam, very nice, very beautiful points.
Okay. Hi. Yes,
Hi
ma'am.
Raj.
I am currently. Hello, sir. Thank you for your a Zoom meeting. I am currently intern doctor in GMC Medical College, Bhavnagar, Gujarat.
Mhm.
Se. Uh, I just started my preparation for step one. I just want to know what should be my roadmap. Like my step one should be like in 2025, first 3 months, or uh, from 2 to 5 5th month between, and second step within 6 months. And I also want to do my hand-on practice in USA. So should
Mhm.
I apply for the hand-on practice and without step one, or I should first use step one?
Okay,
So
Don't know
I
what
think
to do actually.
okay.
So I'll tell you from my experience. So I did clerkship first, and it's not helpful. So I would say to take step one and step two as soon as possible, and then come, because that experience or knowledge that you have in step one will also help you during your hands-on experience. So you will be more confident to answer questions, and you will be able to get a better letter of recommendation. And also remember that the letter of recommendation is more valuable if it is within 1 year of applying. So you cannot have a 2 3 year old letter is not that helpful. So you need to have something that is more recent. So I would say finish your step one and step two, at least your step one, and then think about applying for hands-on.
Yes. So
Uh,
same with me as well. Oh, yes, Raj, go ahead.
सर आई ऑल्सो वांटेड टू नो जहाँ तक सर मैंने सुना है ना कि हैंड ऑन प्रैक्टिस होती है ना वो बेटर देते हैं देन ऑब्जर्वरशिप. But for London, we have to be in intern doctor something. If we finish MBBS in India, then we only apply for the observership. Is it right? Or
That is true. That is true. So अगर आप अभी भी you're in MBBS or internship में, you can apply for clerkships, and actually it's easier to get clerkships. ज़्यादा spots है. So if you can manage and get a clerkship and in a good university, again, like कहाँ पे कर रहे हो also matters. Like it's sometimes it's even better to do observership in a university than a hands-on in a community hospital. So बहुत चीज मैटर करता है, like where you do, when you do. So if you can get a clerkship, hands-on experience in a big university program like Weill Cornell, Harvard, then I would say take it. Like come for a month, take that experience. And but again, like if you also can finish your step one, then do that. But yeah, that will also matter. Like if you can get a good one in like a big university program, I would say yeah, come for a month, finish it, and come back and start continue your step one.
Because even I did the same thing. I finished my step one, step two, and then did my observer. But that was because I had finished my residency also back home. So a lot of what Dr. Allam said was, if you are getting your clerkship in a very nice place like a university, because some of them again, if you venture into that, it is a lot of VSLO, non-VSLO, and all of that. तो वो भी डिफरेंस देखना पड़ता है कि वीएसएलओ है कि वीएसएलओ नहीं है, एंड आपका यूनिवर्सिटी जो है वीएसएलओ करता है कि नहीं है, राइट, वो एक्सेप्ट करता है कि नहीं है. बिकॉज इफ इट हैज वीएसएलओ अगर है उस यूनिवर्सिटी में, देन यू कैन गो अहेड एंड अप्लाई फॉर वीएसएलओ क्लर्कशिप्स इन द यूएस. सो वो भी डिफरेंस होता है, एंड आई थिंक yes, all the points, rest of the other thing was definitely covered by Dr. Allam. A list of clerkships. I'll actually put it up. I have a post coming up on that. So I have a post coming on that up on that. Sorry. So the other question that we have on for Dr. Alam was and you have already explained this before about getting your research position, maintaining your research position and everything, and emailing hundreds of people. So I have personally also emailed a lot of people. How is your expectation versus reality on emailing a lot of people and all of that?
So um, again, you it depends on, again, it's like how you email. It's again also like if they have an opportunity, it's again like timing matters. Like so like I got a response like after a few months. So it really matters on like timing on if they have an opening, they will give you. But it, it's just not about your email. So it's also about whether they have the opportunity. And some contact definitely helps. Like if you know somebody, and I'm sure like nobody has any problem recommending you for research position. Of course, recommending for an residency position is definitely high stakes, and so that's different. But you can easily ask people, especially for voluntary research. Like I was very clear for voluntary, so I got good responses. But if you ask for just, if you don't mention the fact that you're willing to do voluntary, and if you just
Yes.
say research position and then hope that whether they will pay me or don't pay me in a later on, then it's like they're also confused, and so you may not get good responses. So you have to like sometimes be honest and ask for voluntary first. Who knows, after 3 months they will convert you to paid position. But if you don't have research experience, don't have papers, and if you're not having a degree like a MPH or PhD, don't expect to get a paid position right away.
Yes. Yes. And so it was after your MBBS that, and you're working as a junior doctor, you went and then you got the research position as a volunteer
after step
afterward.
After my steps, so I didn't mention that I finished my steps and all that.
Yes. Yes. Yes, I will message it to you, Raj. The next question was, how do we decide if a university is good for observerships or not?
I think observerships, I mean, it's already hard to get observerships, but any universe, I mean, programs should just look at the letterhead, like university name. It doesn't matter. Most universities are pretty good in US. So if anything starts with university of the name, then it is a state university. So it's a public state university. And if the university ends with like Drexel University or Harvard University, then it's a private. So, and all the Ivy Leagues are private. So, yeah, so people value state universities like the University of Arizona, the University of, so it doesn't matter. People understand that, uh, or you could go to a private university like Harvard. And so you can just look at university rankings even on like worldranking.com, but really it doesn't matter. University is university, and it's fine. You will get any university is good.
I know your article beautifully talks about the incoming residents and their like what transition and the lifestyle, and you've written a beautiful article on that that I've read about it. And can you just outline the points for incoming residents? Like, what would be the consideration of your top priority when you are in my stage right now?
Right. So, so first of all, Rashmi, congratulations on matching, and I'm sure there are, there'll be some people who have already matched and viewing this. So, um,
Thank
so, so there is this article. You can just Google IMG Resource Guide, APA, which is American Psychiatry Association. So we published this article on APA website for how after you match to transition. So I would say first thing is start looking at housing now, because most people will put their notice. Most people put their notice for move out 2 months before their lease expires, so which is now. So you'll get more options now. So don't wait for last minute for housing. And then the second thing is, yeah, learn to drive in India if you can. It doesn't matter. If you don't know how to drive, start learning how to drive. Uh, Third thing is open a credit card as soon as you come to US. If you can't get a credit card, there's something called a secured card, which you can open and get approved right away. And make sure that you have health insurance uh, whenever you come to US, because most health insurance, like purchase your own insurance, because you will not have program will only give you insurance from the join July 1st. So you may not have insurance before that. So make sure you have insurance for yourself from the day you come to the program joining date. Yeah, and there are a few other tips on the website. You can check it out. And if you follow me, we will also have there's a national webinar on IMG transition for matched residents. So, I will post the link soon. It's on April 8th. So, so yeah, so you can join that webinar and we'll answer more questions on visas and everything. So
Sorry, I said Sai Tejasvi. Please go ahead. I was on mute.
Hi. Hi, Abhishek. It's been so inspiring to see you the whole journey. It's just unbelievable that someone has gone through such a 5 math cycles. Really, it's definitely very inspiring. So I have completed my step one and I'm applying for my clerkships. As I'm a graduate, mostly observerships are the only options I have right now. So couple of universities are not taking in because I'm a graduate, and there have been several rejections because of the graduate tag I have.
Right.
So I've been applying to hospitals as well. So how do we decide that this is okay, we can do in this place, it is a good hospital? Yeah, I've got one from sunny upstate, and I've got
Are you
through
applying
my
for
senior.
psychiatry?
Yeah, psychiatry at Sunny Upstate. I got an observership over there. They said that it's a good university, so I'm okay with that. But I'm trying out for some other hospitals where I can apply in. So how do we decide if it's a good one or not?
So in hierarchy, definitely university comes first. So if SUNY Upstate is a university, sure, like that's a good place. Like again, like I know a lot of people who did observership there, but they get an interview as well if you're done well in the observership, but they don't usually, you may not match there because they are giving to so many observers. So I would say, yeah, look at university. If they have a residency program, that's even better. Then the next thing would be if you're going for non-universities, then if they just have a residency program or training program, then that is the next best thing. And then the last thing would be just no residency and a community program. So then again, it doesn't matter. Like, even if you get in any university is good. So yeah, then again, East Coast also sometimes matters. So because there are more programs in East Coast, so you may want to just go for a observership in the one of the programs in the East Coast, because that was one issue with me. I was in Arizona, and no one cares about University of Arizona and East Coast when most programs are in the East Coast. And then, of course, the California programs valued me, but then they don't have that many openings for visas. So again, sticking to East Coast, you'll have better network, and also people know each other. It's a small community. So I would say, like, it all depends on like how many, like whether you're in the stage of being picky. If you have just one or two, then just go for whatever options you have best. But you still need to have at least 2 months, 1 to 2 months of US clinical experience. So take what you have. It's very hard to get observership these days. So and just make most of the opportunity, get more letters of recommendation. You can sometimes get 2-3 letters in just 1 month of rotation. So it really depends on how you do and what connections you make.
Oh, I didn't know this that I mean only with 1 month of observership we can ask two professors to give us letters
Like
of.
if in that month, if you're rotating different days with different professors, you can
Oh,
definitely ask.
okay.
Yeah, because when I was doing child neurology, I got all of my 4 letters from the 1 month observer that I did. I I was
So do
going
we have
like
to manage
oh,
timings with that?
no, the thing was that I was an inpatient, so they put you in inpatient, and over there, what happens in Kentucky is one professor rotates per week. But the
Right.
whole week, I was so dedicated that they accepted to do it. Generally, they don't do that, but I 3 of my LORs plus 1 PD LOR was from the one rotation that I did. So it's a misconception that you have to do so many things to do like get so many LORs. It's the amount of dedication and the work that you put in, and that would be good enough.
Yeah. And if you have, because you can upload up to 4 LORs, so you can still do 3 observership LORs and then 1 Indian recent LOR from a teaching hospital or even a hospital, just to show that
Yes,
you have some hands-on as well, just more than observership. So that will balance it out if you don't get hands-on in the US.
that is true. Because in PEDS, 2 LORs were from India for me out of the 4. So the thing, all as Dr. Allam said, it's all about balance. So balancing out LORs, balancing out your time schedule, doing different things, doing a bit of out of box things that he discussed about. All of those will count for sure. I hope this answered your question.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Welcome. The next one would be from JYNT. Can you please unmute yourself and ask the question?
Yeah, hello,
Okay.
sir. Hello, ma'am. And thank you, ma'am, for giving me this opportunity. So, one thing I would like to ask you is just as if, just now, yeah, you yourself said that getting an opportunity to do an observership in the universities is getting hard day by day.
Mhm.
Keeping in mind, like the IM, even the IM program being so competitive and so many students applying for it. So, unfortunately, like many of the students among us, like we have to approach towards like agencies, sir, to get these observerships, to get any sort of clinical experience through, like as of like many of us know, USMLE Saathi is there, and the match
Mm-hmm.
again, like many other services are available, sir. So,
Mm-hmm.
and there are I'm just in the initial stages of like in this journey, sir. I'm preparing for my step one. I'm planning to give it in this December, sir. So one
Mm-hmm.
thing I would like to know is, uh, I've seen so many I've seen lots of negative reviews, and no matter where, like in each and every website, and read that most of these agencies, like this scamming upon students, like they are like taking hefty sum of amount from us and not providing a good LOR or providing some sort of generic LORs, and even the attendings or the preceptors over there, like under whom we rotate, they don't come to the hospital, or like uh, boast about themselves, or what they demand, or what they write is different, and what they provide is completely different from what they say.
Mm-hmm.
So, and regarding all this, how to survive through this, or how to build contacts, or for a person like me who am having like no seniors to support me, and no one, like since my the beginning of my college, and not even one candidate from my college. I'm in study presently. I'm in Government Medical College Srikakulam, sir. So I don't have any senior from my college who has been through this journey. So who can vouch
Yeah.
for me, or who
So
can mentor me.
yeah,
So
even I
it
didn't
is
have
kind of
any.
difficult for me, sir.
Yeah, even I didn't have
So
anybody from family or seniors. But like the good thing is that you still haven't taken your step. So try to
yes.
get maximum of your step one is pass fail, but the step two score and do maximum of step three. And because you have time and you still have so many steps to give, so start applying for observerships before like once you finish your step one, when you start your step two, and try to see there are opportunities. It's just that sometimes you have to apply much early, and yeah, and then it all depends on if you still don't have anything till and you are ready with your steps and you have to apply for residency and you just have a few months, then you don't have a choice, and if you just need some experience in the US. But if you are planning before, you can get uh, you know that's what I feel like. What do you say, Rashmi?
Yes. So my experience on that would be, so I did know, means I was fortunate enough to know a lot of people but not use those resources. So that can also be one scenario when there is a person like in your situation where you have no contacts and everything, and there's someone in my situation where I have a lot of contacts but I'm not using it. So there are two things, and the thing that I did was I didn't want to use my father's contacts or anything, so I would go on to Google every single day and search up universities, go to Frida every single day. Frida is a website which is free for medical students to search up, observers and everything, and residencies, basically residencies. So I would search up, I would put the IMG level to a bit higher level, like at least 35%, put the MDs like AMG level to a bit lesser. And so I would have done that, and then I would list out all the universities that came up, and then I would email the program coordinator. My experience was very like bittersweet, because the thing is that I know that when you told me that you don't have any contact and you want to go forward, a lot of people are there to help you, and a lot of people who you never knew, who if you reach out to them in a kind way, they are always there to lead you forward. So when I was doing the Observer, my PD was one of the person who mentored me, and he's like, again, I always say this in every episode or every YouTube video of mine, is that he was from a different nation. He's a Pakistani MD. He's a Pakistani PD. So you never know who's going to help you. But the only thing you can do is be the best version of yourself. Be kind, be humble, be always learning. And I feel like LinkedIn, as Dr. Allam said, was a very good resource for me because I got a few observers from there. I got most of my observers from Google itself. So I do not recommend anybody to use the agencies because I'm very against those. The pointers that you put out were like, maybe they're giving fake alerts. And I have a few of my friends who have suffered the same thing. So one of my friend, she did all of her rotations, paid rotations, and she paid at least 2,500 per rotation. And she did 4 of those. And like what happened in the ending, she would call me every day and be like, my LOR has not been uploaded. The attending has lost contact. I've lost contact with the attending. I keep on like texting her. She's not replying to me. And all of these, believe it, were agencies. So all of the rotations she did for $2,500, and she spent almost $10,000 on rotations. And she did that because she did not have an option. And the fact that even if you're so desperate and you are doing that, there are people out there, are companies out there that are going to leverage the fact and not give you LORs. They won't give you LORs. Like, forget giving a good LOR. They won't give you LOR. Then what are you going to do? Like, you can't do anything. And then you're a helpless position, right? You might be the best student that clinic might have had, or the best, observer that is rotating over there, but they don't care. Because I know my friend very personally. She's also done pediatrics, and she is a very, very, very hard worker. So she would go again, same, 7 in the morning, come back at 7 in the night. But she didn't have an LOR in the hand, versus me, who, I'm not trying to boast, but I'm just saying the scenario versus like the university scenario or you applying by yourself versus agency scenario is what I'm talking about, right? So hers was agency and mine was this thing. And all of my LORs were on time. Actually, all of the PD and the observer LORs are actually way before before my Indian LORs were uploaded. So you can see the difference when you come to that rush point, when you're on that point where you're on the spot, you have to submit your application. It is 5 days out. You don't have an LOR in your hand. You know how tense that's going to feel? Because she would call me and she would cry about it. She'd be like, I paid so much, I did so much, I invested my time so much. You should know where to invest your time and how to invest it, and what would be a better option. So that is why I always advocate on this page, universities before hospitals, before clinics. And the last option would be a private clinic. And since you're an intern here, I would suggest you to go on LinkedIn. I know, there is a lot of imposter syndrome where a lot of people feel they're not good enough to even email or, send out a mail. Because see, I know you're coming from Srikakulam, and I know there are other people in like more tinier villages who are trying to go towards USMLE, but they think that they're not good enough. Oh, this person has got this much CV, this person has got this much, this person has done her residency, that's why she's talking like that. No, it is not that. It is you putting effort into making connections. By making, first you have to build up your resume, and that is what Dr. Alam talked about. There is no excuse to build up your resume. There are online classes, there are courses online, everything is almost on the internet right now, right? And there is no excuse for building up your resume. And if you do build up your resume and you make a good resume, and then you send it out to PDs and coordinators and program directors, that's it. They can give you an observer, and that is all you need to actually get this thing. And so my rotations, again, I'm trying not to be boastful, but all of my rotations were free, not through the contact of my dad, So this was the connections that I formed by myself. So you can form that too, is what I want to tell you. I started off as if I was starting from ground zero, as if I was in your boots, as if I had no content. The only thing that probably distinguishes me from what my other listeners are right now is probably that I had a pediatrics MD. And that's the only thing. Any other questions? I hope I put it nicely, but I'm not sure.
Thank you, ma'am. This would be the it's hell lots of inspiration for a person like me. Like the situation I'm in. So, these are the things like I would like to hear, and I wish I would like to hear from someone. And it's like a dream come true moment for me. Like you're an example. So what I will have to do in future, ma'am. So I'll definitely plan accordingly. And please be there to help students like us. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you. I would love to know your name though. I don't know what JYNT stands for, but
Because
since
Jay-
being from,
I'm very sorry. It is Jayant, madam. It is Jayant. I'm very sorry.
I was guessing Jayant, by the way, Dr. Allam. I was almost guessing Jayant because, as you know, even I'm from Andhra, but I'm a Rajput, like who studied everything in Andhra. And Dr. Allam is also, he has background from Andhra, but not making this regional, not making this regional. I'm sorry. Anybody else has any doubts? Please. I'm here. Dr. Allam is here. LOR from private hospital doctor in US is valuable or not?
I think we answered that. So
Oh yeah. If someone is new to research how to improve yourself, any resources, and she's a psych applicant.
yeah, so I wrote back. So yeah, basically
Oh, sorry.
there are free courses on Coursera, like where you can get certified in like statistics, research writing. Uh, check Harvard website, Yale website. They have free research courses. So I would say take use of that, and then coming from good universities that you have completed the course and certified on it can help in your CV. And then when you apply for research positions, it will show that you are certified. You have some experience in these. Of course, reach out to your peers, and if they're doing any research project, and if you can help them out with literature review or writing, that's how you start. So find out, connect on LinkedIn with your peers or with current residents to see what projects they're on.
Awesome, awesome answer. So, I have no other questions, I guess, in the thing. Yeah. So we have answered questions about USCE reapplying. So, Dr. Allam, I wanted to ask you, what is um, the powerful motivational quote that you would tell people for people who are reapplying, who are IMGs, who are reapplying, who are disheartened at this point? And I feel immensely sad for them, but also I want them to not give up. So, what would you tell them?
Yeah, so the quote is that this is from someone called Calvin College, but this is the one that the McDonald's founder had in his mind when he was starting McDonald's. So the quote is that nothing in this world can take the place of persistence. Talent will not, because there is nothing more common than unsuccessful men with talent. And genius will not, because there is a lot of proverbs saying like, I am an unrewarded genius. So there is a lot of people with talent, a lot of geniuses. So an education will not. There are a lot of people full of high education, but persistence and determination alone is omnipotent, which means that is a most important thing for long-term success. So that's the goal.
That's amazing, Dr. Raghav. I just love it because I, first of all, was very inspired by your story. A lot of people give up between like after the second cycle, and I read a lot of IMG posts, and I'm very saddened by it. And all of them are like, "Oh, I did not match this cycle. I wish I could kill myself." No, it is not the end of the world. It is not. It is just a residency. I'm not trying to be negative, but it is something that you have wanted and you have worked hard for. And this is what you want, and this is what you need. as a person to grow into a better doctor, a better researcher, a better, have beautiful, wonderful opportunities. So this is what you chose for yourself, and not one opportunity, not two opportunities will knock you down. Not, Dr. Allam was here, and even after like the 5 things, he held himself up and he was like, no, I'm going to apply again. It takes a lot of courage, Dr. Allam, to do that. And I'm very, very, very like thankful and grateful that you could come on to this webinar for us. Thank you so, so much for giving us such a beautiful insight about how your journey was, never giving up, a resilience, and a story of perseverance. According to you live up to the quotation that you told us right now. And I am so thankful for you. And
No,
so
I'm thankful for able to use this platform to help everyone. So you can always reach out to me through LinkedIn or whatever means. I'm equally active on WhatsApp, LinkedIn. It's the same for me. So just reach out to me, and yeah, if there's any way I can help, But you have to also like remember to keep trying to find out why, how you can improve yourself, and just keep doing that. But also take care of your mental health. Make sure that you are not burning out, and everything is important, and it will show during your interviews and everything. So you have to have a balanced self throughout, and that's very important. And yeah, so I really wish everyone good luck, and it was amazing to be here and meet you all, and we will be in touch.
thank you so much, Dr. Allam. It was wonderful. So signing off, usmle.info, keeping you guys inspired always.